Steve Stipler here with Dan Hardenbrook, back for another edition of Sports Chat. How are you doing, Dan?
Hanging in there, man.
Hanging in there.
It's the fun time of the year, tournament time.
So things are coming to an end, aren't they?
Yeah, which that part's not necessarily always fun, but it's an exciting time of year, you know, with kind of the playoff pressure and the spotlight and kind of the big stage. Kids getting excited and digging deep and trying to finish their season strong.
Yeah. So what teams do you see making a deep run, if there are any, in the area that will go far in the playoffs?
Well, if you look at kind of the Eastern UP right now, I think on the boys' side, going to be interesting to see what Rudyard can do. A lot of people expected them to take a big step back. Jimmy Suggett's done a great job. Cam Peterson over there is playing like a man possessed. Division 4 is going to be interesting for the boys' side because Rudyard is right there. They are good again. But you got a couple of teams who I still think on any given night could be their night. The Cedarville Detour group played some pretty tough games as of late. I know their record's not kind of where they thought it would be. They thought they'd be closer to Rudyard competing for the conference title. Just hasn't unfolded that way for them, but they've dealt with a lot of injuries and illness, and they've got their full complement back at the right time. And then as you move west, Munising, obviously very good. Their only loss to Brimley. Jeffers still undefeated on the far end. I would keep an eye on those teams. And for Rudyard and Munising, I think the big question is going to be, can they transition this regular season success into a postseason run? Munising's had great seasons for a long time. Seems like they always get a bad break or a bad bounce or pick the wrong time to play their worst game of the year, and they're out early after an amazing season. And if Rudyard can keep this run going against some of the tougher teams when they get out of the EUP and start playing tougher competition from the West, and then possibly even the Northern Lower, because the EUP and the Straits Area Conference, I think top to bottom on both sides this year has been a little bit down.
Yeah. So
on the hockey side of things, that bracket's out. The basketball district pairings and drawings come out next week, but the hockey field is set. Their NPR deadline is passed. Good news and bad news for the Manistee Emeralds Co-op. The bad news is they finished as the number 4 seed in their group of 5, which means they've got to play an extra game to get into the semifinals. The good news, though, is as the 4 seed, they get to host that pre-regional game, which will be the 22nd in Manistee.
Next Wednesday.
And that'll be big for that program to get a home game where they've been excellent all season long, and really through the first 2 years of the program. They've beaten Negaunee twice and then possibly set up a semifinal showdown with Sault Ste. Marie. The number 3 seed, Kingsford, travels to Escanaba on the other side of the bracket. Escanaba just beat the Emeralds in another close, tight game. But they finish with a higher seeding and a better point total, but they don't get a home game. They got to go straight to Escanaba. I kind of like the path for the Emeralds. I would expect and hope that they're back in that regional final, get one more crack at Escanaba, and then a big test. The winner who comes out of this regional gets Houghton. Only one loss all season in the quarterfinals. But some chinks kind of in the armor coming down there, so you never know. But the lay of the land looks pretty good for the Emeralds varsity as they wrap up the regular season this weekend with 2 games in Kalamazoo, and then on to tournament time for them.
So now that we are approaching tournament, we are getting to that time where, well,
one of our least favorite times of the year.
Yeah.
The paperwork increases and the services we're allowed to provide decrease. The fine folks in East Lansing at the MHSAA, their broadcast regulations say that they own the exclusive right to the tournaments. It's their tournament. Doesn't belong to the schools anymore like in the regular season. Basically, the MHSAA says, do your own thing. just make sure you follow the rules for schools during the season, and then come tournament time,
It's all ours.
it's all ours. And the agreement, the trade-off this year in the rules was we will allow schools, if they join the NFHS network, which MHSAA TV is a part of.
Right.
If they join that network, then they're allowed to bring in third-party media, which we get classified as the lowest class of citizen on the totem pole, I guess. And so those facilities, we've been able to do video all regular season, but they shut that down and try to boost up their subscriber count and their coffers a little bit for the postseason. So it'll be audio only for the hockey tournament. I know we got to wait and see where these basketball games end up. That'll depend on where we go and if we can get in there or not. But yeah, audio only due to the MHSAA broadcast regulations. But we've always tried to come up with a plan to still to serve the viewer that becomes the listener. And we'll do our best again this year.
Because I know we try to point the camera at the scoreboard so that you get to see the clock, you get to see the score.
Which is good because I sometimes forget things like that.
So that's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
I mean, it's...
Yeah, if you remember, we went down with the UP Sports Network to Grand Rapids for the semifinals a couple years ago when Rudyard made it. And pointed cameras at mine and Jeremy's ugly mugs, and people still watch that. But we'll do our best to get set up where we can get a nice camera shot. We'll show some pregame and some postgame skate stuff and in between periods and quarters, and hopefully...
Yeah, because as soon as the puck drops or they toss the ball up for tip-off.
Yep, buzzer to buzzer.
Yep, then the camera has to go somewhere else, and then as soon as it's over, then we can bring it back. And people who want to attend, they have to now buy their tickets online. That's
right. That is a new program that started. It was a COVID thing coming out of the COVID restrictions to cut down on lines at the door and the exchange of cash and face-to-face contact. As you now order your ticket online, you just show up, they scan your code. GoFan is the app. It's all one word, capital G-O, capital F-A-N, and then on there you search the location of the game. Don't search by school, because if you search, for instance, Newberry High School, it's going to pull up events only at Newberry High School.
Okay.
So you got to search the location of the event and then go there. It increases per round. I want to say it's $7 plus a convenience charge because you're using a card.
Right.
It may increase to $9, and then I think it goes up to $12 for the championship weekends. But I know Engadine, Newberry, Manistee, they've been posting their GoFan links on their Facebook pages. The best way is if you have a kid playing to get that information from your coach and get that downloaded and save your time at the door. And no cash will be taken. Sault Ste. Marie last night in the regular season, they've gone all cashless for their ticket tables so that their volunteers don't have to handle money and they're not moving boxes around. But that's another program that the state has partnered up with for the postseason is tickets purchased online through the GoFan app.
So I wonder how well that works, to go cashless like that for regular season.
They've been positive about it just because it's simple and it's easy and the money gets deposited straight in the school account. And,
do they have, someone there to help people if grandma doesn't know how to use a...
That's been a big thing. That's held some places up is...
Yeah.
And some people, talking with ADs, it's a little bit hectic because you don't get a system to kind of input this thing in. So you've got to go through a chart and match up all the codes, and it's a lot of extra paperwork after the fact easier getting people in, I think, but probably harder on the back end behind the scenes. And in some spots, as we've learned, cell service and internet is not always a viable option.
Yeah, you're in the UP.
I know when we went to Rogers City for the football playoffs, there was a little bit of trouble because, outside, off of school property, trying to scan these codes and check people's tickets. But a lot of facilities in the Eastern UP, I know, kind of tried to designate somebody who can be there to help assist. If you haven't been able to purchase a ticket for whatever reason, you can't get through, the server goes down, or loading your tickets at the time. I'm sure most of the host facilities probably now, as we're into the tail end of the second year of this, are probably
more prepared,
pretty well ironed out on the bugs in the system.
All right. One last thing. What's happening this weekend?
Let's see. This weekend, high school hockey is in Kalamazoo. That'll be a Friday night, Saturday afternoon game. I will not be able to make it, but Zach Klickner will still be there. Our good friend Andy Levine over from Manistee going to be running the camera for us. People might remember last year Andy did a lot of video for us at the 14U level when we got into the tournament times and the conflicts. And I hear there's a rumor that a former intern of ours, an Emeralds player, is going to be joining the broadcast.
Oh,
Johnny Nutkins may be making a guest appearance this weekend.
Well, that's awesome. Good for him.
To help Zach out, because it's tough doing a game by yourself, especially hockey, with the pace of play. So the Emeralds will be down there Friday night and Saturday. No basketball action this weekend. We've made it through kind of the reschedules. Girls head into their final week of the regular season. Boys got 2 weeks left. Youth hockey. I know the 14U districts didn't go the way we wanted last weekend, but they wrap up their regular season schedule with games Saturday and Sunday. I think the 12U picked up a couple of games. Those teams are gearing up now for Puck of the Irish in mid-March. Wrestling. Contrary to popular belief, I do not hate wrestling. I do not
Let's talk wrestling.
Down on wrestling.
Okay.
Good luck to the individuals from the Newberry Engadine Co-op. There's a handful of kids who, the team districts, which we were at,
Right.
we made the finals and came up short. But then this past weekend, they did the individual district tournaments, and the top 4 in those advanced. We had a few that'll head to the individual regionals. The top 4 in each weight class there go to Ford Field in Detroit for the individual state finals. We had a couple go last year, so I know Coach Bowler's been up there working with the individuals still on some of their final tune-up. So good luck to them. I will be in Newberry at the American Legion for the 9th annual Cabin Fever Cornhole Tournament.
That's what I was going to ask. When is the cornhole?
The Cornhole Tournament is Saturday, February 18th, American Legion Post 74 in Newberry. For those that signed up, doors will open at 10 o'clock, so you can come in and get situated. You can't toss early. We frown upon that. This is a friendly competition. No cheating allowed. And then bags start flying at 10:30. Some mixed reports getting put out there today. Some people apparently not aware of what else is going on. Even though the sign-up deadline's passed for that, it's a spectator event. You can come in free of charge, hang out and watch the action, full concession on site. Jason Tokar's done a great job collecting donations and some pretty awesome items for the silent auction. There'll be basket raffles, 50-50 drawings throughout the day. All the money goes to not just the American Legion baseball program. The Legion sponsors our Summer Travel League team, which is like a high school version of Little League that the American Legion sponsors. And we may possibly have 1 or 2 Legion teams this year with some younger interest at the middle school level. But all the equipment is shared with the high school program. So last year, the high school program was still self-funded, and kind of the timeline to get funding to to purchase stuff didn't match up. So the Legion said, hey, here's money out of our account. Go ahead and buy the equipment for the season. And we used it for the high school and the American Legion program. It's the same kids. It's just when the high school season's over, you go, gives kids a chance to do something in the summer.
Keep playing. Sure.
Stay active in the summer. Spend some time with their friends. So it's kind of like a summer travel league team around the Eastern UP and the Northern Lower. And kids from Engadine also participate in that as well. We're a co-op with Engadine for the high school program. Great thing about the Legion team is it's open from 14 to 19. So kids that graduated that are coming back home can get back out there. Younger kids who hope to play at the high school level can get some early experience there, which is nice. So a lot of different kids impacted by this through the two programs in the two towns. So come down, show your support. A ton of great sponsors from around the community. It's just a fun event, and really wouldn't have baseball in Newberry without this event. So come down, show your support, something you get to have fun and participate in, win some pretty cool stuff. You don't have to take on any more pasties or discount cards or the things that kind of pile up at this point in the school year, and it's a pretty fun event. So 10:30 that gets underway. Doors open at 10 o'clock, and come on down.
Come on down. All right. Well, we'll stop here. Thanks for spending a little time with us doing this sports chat. And
always good to know I've made it this far in the winter.
That's right. You survived. That's right. We'll see you next week.